All right. Hey, brother.
Hey, Al.
And welcome everyone back to another episode of Siblings in Crime. I'm Allie Rossell.
And I'm Blake Murphy.
And just as it sounds, we're siblings who love true crime.
Yes, love it.
Love it, love it, love it. This week, we're going to be going into a case that has a little bit of twists and turns.
Okay.
So that's what you can expect.
Sweet.
But before we go into it, if you haven't, as always, please like, subscribe, follow, all the things.
Yep.
It's been really fun.
Share.
Share.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
said that before.
Yeah. Wow. Look at you thinking creatively.
Yeah. Thank you.
So, yes, that would be very helpful. We love it, and we appreciate all the comments. And for this week's case, actually, it's going to be kind of fun for me because it's the first episode that we have our new researcher.
Yeah.
So
researcher.
Awesome. Hannah is the best. She helped me a lot with this case, making sure everything was fact-checked. That's one thing I suck at, is being able to find out what is for sure the most factual information out there. So she was able to help put this together with me to create the story. So thank you, Hannah. And I'm excited because hopefully she wants to help us a lot more in all of our other cases.
Yeah.
That's going to be a lifesaver for sure.
Super lifesaver.
Super, super duper lifesaver. All right. Anything about the week before I roll into it?
Nope. Let's roll.
All right. So our story begins in a quiet neighborhood in upstate New York. Dispatch receives a call for a welfare check. A worried spouse says her husband hasn't been seen in days. When deputies arrive, they head upstairs to the master bedroom. The door is locked from the inside. After several knocks and there's no answer, they force it open. Inside, the shades are drawn. 2 glasses sit on a nightstand, and the family is hit with a heartbreak that is all too familiar. As investigators start to peel back the layers, what they uncover will twist into one of the most surprising cases to come out of New York. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
This is the story of David Castor. Let's roll.
You messed it up.
I went out of order by accident. In 1985, Stacey met Michael Wallace in upstate New York. She was jazzed about Michael right from the start. Later, she said she knew within 5 minutes she was going to marry this man. I'm like, dang, that's pretty intense. That's a whole lot of love. Mm-hmm. So 2 years later, she did marry this man.
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
Good for them.
Yeah, so she was like, I'm going to marry him. She did. That same year.
She did.
Yeah, that same year, they had their first daughter, Ashley, and that's in 1987.
Okay, 1987. Mm-hmm. So I got to remember that date so I know.
What's around in the 80s.
What's around in that time.
Exactly. So after Ashley was born, 2 years later, they had their second, or I say 2 years later, it's actually 4 years later, they had their second Bree in 1991. So Stacey and Michael both worked and built a modest life together. They didn't have much, but they were a really close family, raising these 2 young girls.
Yep.
By 1999, Michael began to feel sick. His family noticed he looked pale and tired and told him that he needed to go see a doctor. But before he could ever make an appointment, he suddenly passed away in early 2000s, leaving Stacey a widower and their 2 daughters fatherless. And he was only 38 years old. Isn't that heartbreaking?
That is very heartbreaking and crazy. 38?
Yeah.
What did he die from?
A heart attack.
Oh, man.
Which is surprising because I feel like that never happens. And
Well, it happens.
Well, that young?
Yeah.
Well, I feel like also kind of during the whole COVID period, I feel like people were having heart attacks younger and younger. Obviously, this isn't COVID season, but
Yeah.
I feel like I've been seeing that a lot more recently, not so much in the early 2000s, but
You never know.
regardless, heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Ashley was only 11 years old at the time, and she was home with her dad when he passed away on the couch. Isn't that so traumatic?
Yeah, it's sad.
Yeah, so sad. And she went on to blame herself all these years, thinking that there was something she could have done, which is also so sad because in a situation like this, you have no control. Mm-hmm. So grief and anger and all these things are very common to feel when you're going through the grieving process. And Ashley had a really hard time moving on past this. So we're going to into the story right off the bat really sad. As a family now, we have a mom and 2 daughters who are looking for stability and healing.
Yeah.
And along this journey of recovery, but it's typically the worst time of a person's life, they actually stayed in New York, and this is in 2003, is where Stacey found and married her now second husband, David Castor. And so for this small family, things are starting to look up for the first time. This is like kind of a quick period because her first husband died in 2000, and now she's getting remarried in 2003. I feel like that's pretty common. I think women usually get married like 5 to 7 years, and guys are like 1 to 3 or something after a spouse passes. It's like crazy fast for guys.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, so they're like finally optimistic. Things are looking up. David himself, he had an adult son, also named David, with a previous spouse, and this adult son is like grown. So Stacey's not really his stepmom because he never was raised in the house, but they were like all very cordial. Everything's fine.
Yeah.
But David, he ran a small air conditioning business and took pride in his handiwork.
Nice.
So I think you always give credit for guys who are handiworks in our podcast.
Yeah.
Now that you're on you flip houses and on that side of things, huh?
Yeah, but I don't do anything.
That's true.
I'm not handy in the slightest.
That is true. I feel like you always try to fight me on that, but you're right. You're not very handy.
No, I'll just admit it.
There you go. Look at you being so honest.
Yeah.
So this guy, he is like the classic things that come with a handyman. He's hardworking, dependable, someone who can rarely sit still. But he had like all the fun toys. Like he had the motorcycles, the snowmobiles, like all the things.
Handy guys always have all fun stuff because they can fix it up.
That's
you don't have to
so
buy it brand
true.
new or anything.
The jet skis. Yeah, he's like, yeah, buy it used, fix it all. It works great. That's a good point. I've never realized that before.
One day I'll be handy.
Do you have an actual desire?
No, not really.
Okay, well then you won't be handy. I was curious if you actually wanted to. Or...
Certain things, and then I'm like halfway through and I'm like, oh my gosh, I hate this thing.
I remember when you were so excited because you were learning how to put doorknobs on. It was like...
I wasn't learning.
We're watching YouTube and you're like so proud of yourself.
That's
but you
not
gave
a
up
normal
quick.
doorknob.
You
make it sound stupid.
It's not a normal doorknob.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know it was a special doorknob. Yeah. I'm just saying I was
so
proud of you.
YouTube channel about it.
I was proud of you for learning, okay? That's all I'm getting at. But all that to say, so David's like a super fun guy. Stacey, on the other hand, she's like, I guess I don't know a whole lot about her personality, honestly, but she's like compliments him well, where he's the handyman and she's like kind of the brains, the organization, that kind of thing. Stacey, she worked in his office. So she was the one scheduling appointments, doing the paperwork, all that kind of stuff. The organization, keeping up with the house. And so you need both parts to make a home work.
Yeah.
And they had both parts.
Nice.
Yeah. So there's nothing unusual about their home, their marriage, anything like that. However, it is a blended family. And for these girls who lost their biological father just 3 years earlier, we're having a really hard time now with a stepfather moving in. But that's a normal adjustment. The daughters see their mom as like their best friend. And so now sharing their mom also with another man can cause conflict, and that's normal stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why are you laughing?
I'm not.
Okay.
I've seen it firsthand.
Oh, I know. It's hard, okay? I'm like a full-grown adult. It's hard. Can't imagine if I was 11, I would have done really bad. But anywho.
You were crazy.
Rude. I thought I did pretty good considering how bad I thought I was going to do.
Just kidding. No,
Anywho, all that to say, it's hard losing your dad and seeing a mom move on.
Yeah.
Anyways, I love my mom. So, normal blending family situation, but by all accounts, good family situation. By Friday night, August 19th, 2005, so now we've been married for 2 years, families together for that long, tragedy strikes the Castor family again. David isn't feeling well. According to Stacey, the two had a small argument that night, and then he said he wanted to get some alone time. Normal thing. She tells the police that David locked himself in their bedroom and spent the weekend there drinking and refusing to come out. Saturday passes, then Sunday, with no word from him. Stacey says that she tried calling him through the door, thinking maybe he just needed time, but it's been a little while at this point. But when Monday morning comes around and David didn't show up for his work appointments, she decides something's wrong, and that's when she calls 911. You gotta remember, she's like the office girl, so if he's not showing up to appointments, like she's the one that gets called that David didn't show up. Mm-hmm. That afternoon, Stacey calls the county sheriff's office to request a welfare check. Deputies arrive at the Castor home and knock several times and get no response. Now they're super worried. Officers kick down the door and bust their way inside. I imagine cops loving that for some reason. Like, they probably had the feeling,
finally,
I know, this is my chance. like finally get to use that random skill of busting down a door. Probably feels so cool. But so they bust down the door. They make their way inside, and inside the bedroom, the air feels heavy. David is lying on the bed, completely nude and unresponsive. Nearby, on the nightstand, sits a short glass containing a bright green liquid and another glass with traces of juice. A bottle of Antifreeze rests on the floor beneath the bed.
Uh-oh.
Dang it. It's kind of like what we talked about recently with Antifreeze. I was kind of surprised I was going to do another poison one coming up. But this case is just so shocking to me that we're doing it anyways. So
I have a hypothesis, but I'm not going to say it because I think I might be right, so I don't want to spoil anything. I've never heard this one, but I think
you
I
have
might
a feeling?
be right. Yeah.
I feel like you might be surprised that I feel like you might think and you might be wrong.
All right. I'm going to write down on my phone while you're talking, and then if I'm right, then...
You don't want to say it out loud? I won't give you any response.
No. I don't want to say... I don't want anyone thinking what I'm thinking.
Now, write it down because I'm curious how close you're going to be. Because I was thrown through a loop. So paramedics rush in, but at this point, it's too late. Stacey stands nearby, shaking as officers deliver the soul-crushing news that David is dead. Stacey immediately went into denial, which is a very common response in any crime scene you see. She's repeatedly saying, he's not dead, he's not dead. She told the officers that he had been depressed, but never would have thought he would take his own life. And for investigators, though, it looks like an awful but pretty straightforward case for them. They're like, okay, it's a husband who locked himself away. He's obviously been depressed. He couldn't handle the turbulence of life and took his own life. Despite what family would argue that he would never do such a thing, the coroner reported that David had committed suicide through a self-administered lethal dose of antifreeze. The funeral takes place a few days after David's death. The church is small, packed with family and friends, co-workers. He is well loved in this community. Stacey sits at the front, greeting guests with tired eyes, and Ashley and Bree stay close to her side, unsure of how to respond. Like, this is their second funeral in 5 years. For such young girls, that's horrible.
Yeah.
I mean, for anybody, that's horrible. But David is buried in a local cemetery outside of Weedsport, New York, and it's actually the same one that Stacey's first husband, Michael Wallace, had also been laid to rest 5 years earlier. So that's kind of weird to me. But, I mean...
It's probably the only one nearby.
It's probably also special for them, like your family. You can go visit your people you love in one visit. So in the weeks after the service, Stacey goes back to work, trying to keep David's business up and running the best she can. Life seems to settle into a quiet routine again. The girls go back to school. Stacey says busy, and the house that once buzzed with phone calls and service requests now feels strangely still. From the outside, the story appears to end there. A hardworking man gone too soon, a family trying to heal, and a wife doing everything she can to keep life moving forward. That is, until 2 years later. Ashley, the older of the sisters, is still struggling. She was only early teens when her father, Michael, passed away, and she had been home that day, like we said. And then for years, she carried this guilt. And then David died in 2005, and it felt like history repeating itself. So hardly able to go through the grieving process and heal, she has this other death. So when in 2007, so just 2 years later, like I said, police reach out to Ashley about her father and stepfather's death, and this is when she spirals. The next morning, September 14th, 2007, Stacey calls 911. Her voice shakes as she tells the dispatcher her daughter won't wake up. Deputies arrive to find her outside crying, and inside Ashley's bedroom, they find her unconscious in bed, a half-empty bottle of vodka and crushed pills nearby.
I heard Bree scream, "Mommy, there's something wrong with Sissy." I got up and went into Ashley's bedroom. I called her name. I tried to shake her, and she didn't give any response. I immediately went to get the phone to call 911.
What were you thinking at that point?
That was probably one of the most devastating moments in my life.
On the desk, next to her computer, Bree, the younger sister, finds a note signed with Ashley's name. It's long and specific. In it, she confesses to it all. The poisoning of both her stepfather, David Castor, and her own father, Michael Wallace.
Wow.
So she says she's been living with guilt for all these years. And when the cops came to question her at school, she just couldn't take the guilt any longer. Bree gives it to her mom, who gives it to the paramedics, who gives it to detectives, this note. And when they look into it, like the case that they thought was closed a long time ago suddenly looks very different, and things slowly start to come together. So it seemed that Michael, her biological dad, favored the younger daughter, Bree.
Mm-hmm.
Which
happens.
Yeah, I guess happens.
Yeah, I don't know.
I would say not in our family.
Yeah.
I was the only girl who helps.
Yeah.
But like Ashley evidently did not do well with this. She didn't like being put aside.
She probably just you probably just have someone that you like the same things.
That's true.
It's like, oh, she loves watching football with me. It's fun.
Yeah.
And the other one's like, I don't like football, and Dad hates me because he never wants to watch.
He has no boys.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like that's very normal for like stereotypically the girls are like dad's best friend and the boys are like mom's best friend type of thing.
Yeah.
So sometimes you kind of cling to one parent over the other. Mm-hmm. And it seems like Ashley was like super close with her mom, so I think that makes sense. Like you kind of pair off that way, it's easy. Yeah. But for whatever reason, like this must have hit her hard when she was young. Mm-hmm. And so she acted on that inner rage by poisoning her own father.
Her own father?
Her own father.
Wow.
Yeah, her own father. And just 5 years later, when Ashley got in a new relationship, like, again, when Stacey's in a new relationship. How old is she again? She was only 11 when her dad died. Yeah.
It's crazy that she knew that because she didn't have the internet to look anything up.
That's what I said. I said Antifreeze. I learned that from true crime. Like I wouldn't have even known what that was.
Maybe she just knows because he's handy and she helps him work on stuff. And he's like, "Don't drink that; it's gonna kill you."
Well, true, but David is the stepdad who's handy.
Oh, the stepdad's handy.
Yeah, but I'm sure the same thing. Like you have house cleaning supplies that can be hazardous. You know.
Yep.
So. She was only 11 years old, acting on that rage to her own father, who by all accounts had a good relationship.
Had a heart attack.
Well, that's what's in the confession letter. 5 years later, when Ashley's mom is in a relationship, Ashley's feeling put aside again. And it was that much easier for her to go back to that old way and do the same thing to her stepfather.
Jeez.
It was like shocking. For the next few days, the story starts to connect. A young woman who killed her two father figures, and when the truth came out, she couldn't live with this anymore. Mm. And a young woman who has been depressed, she has been haunted by guilt, she felt trapped. This was the only way out. Despite all odds, though, Ashley survives. So despite her attempt, doctors tell her that if Bree had found her even minutes later, she wouldn't have made it. And how sickening the sister found her. Mm. After years of holding on to potential evidence, detectives finally start to make their moves. So from the start, David died in 2003. Things fell off to everyone. So remember, it was antifreeze, but everyone thought it was suicide. And so then they see that there's this suicide letter. And so now they're going back into it. And I'm going to take you back to those early days when they first were suspicious. So this can be behind the scenes of what detectives were doing during this time.
Okay.
So when investigators swept the Castor home on that initial visit, so when they found David dead, like, okay, it looks like suicide. We're going to do what we're supposed to do at a crime scene type of event and just secure the area. Mm-hmm. When they go back, they actually go into the garage and find a trash can. And they find something odd inside the trash can. On the top is a turkey baster, like a new turkey baster. For me, I'd have been like, it's a trash can. Who cares if there's a turkey baster in there? Mm-hmm. But they went straight into the forensics, and on the tip of the on the turkey baster, there was traces of David's DNA, and on the inside was traces of antifreeze. Mm. So the discovery suggests that poison wasn't probably drank willingly from David, and that it was kind of administered, but still they needed more. So they have this suicide letter that's saying that she committed this murder. And so now they're going into like, okay, if it was a murder, we got to find evidence to back that up. Now they're on like this hunt. And so like, okay, well, she said that all of a sudden Michael didn't die of a heart attack. So they went and actually exhumed Michael's body.
Whoa.
A weird thing about, I'm like, that's pretty gnarly.
I know. I've heard people do that. And I'm like, it's like so much work. I bet. And like kind of creepy.
Very.
But it makes sense. You got to figure it out. But it seems like it's not an easy thing to do.
Well, the weird thing, too, with antifreeze specifically, because I was going to say, even if you
And
exhume,
5 years later.
That's what I was about to say. Even if you exhume Michael's body, I'm like, how can you tell
Maybe
that
it's
he had a
in
heart
bone
attack?
density or something. Or
Well, that's what I was going to say is, actually, if you're poisoned with antifreeze is like, what happens is your organs like crystallize, and those crystals never go away. And
Whoa.
so
you have crystal organs?
yes, the idea being if he was poisoned, when they go and do an autopsy on him, they'll see that there was crystals in those, meaning that he was poisoned. I just don't know how you can check after someone passed if they had a heart attack. But I mean, I guess they're really just trying to see if he was poisoned.
Yeah. They're like, if these are crystallized, then it's probably not a heart attack.
Right.
Or it's like a byproduct.
True. That's a good point.
True.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. What they did is they exhumed Michael, and they did an autopsy to find out what truly happened. And the results come back unmistakable. And ethylene glycol crystals, or antifreeze, was in his tissues. So Michael Wallace had been poisoned, just as the note suggested. By now, the picture's becoming like crystal clear, and the confession's all making sense. It looks like David's death wasn't a suicide, and it looks like Michael's death wasn't a heart attack. Two men, same symptoms, dropped dead. While Ashley begins to recover in the hospital, investigators can finally start asking her like the heavy-hitting questions. I feel like that'd be so hard and frustrating as an investigator. You're like waiting for someone to recover, and like you want to be patient, but you're also like, this is a serious deal. I feel like you hear that a lot in stories.
Yeah.
So they walk back through Ashley's last memories, and she recounts what happened the day leading up to her waking up in the hospital. It was her first day of classes. She was going to community college nearby when she got the call that stopped her cold. Two investigators want to talk about her father, Michael Wallace, and her stepdad, David. Ashley said that she panics and immediately called her mother. Stacey answered, told her to come home, they'll figure it out, whatever. That evening, Ashley drives back to the family house in Weedsport, and Stacey pours them 2 drinks, one for her, one for Ashley. And Ashley tells detectives...
Wait, pause. I'm going to update my guess.
You can't update mid-guess. You're supposed to just...
I'm going to do a revision.
Okay. We're not pausing, though. We're carrying on.
All right, keep going.
Well, Stacey gets them drinks, and she's trying to calm Ashley down because Ashley's going on about like all the things that the detectives told her. Ashley tells detectives that the drink tasted nasty, bitter, and that she didn't think much of it because her and her mom are best friends. They talk for hours about Michael's death, about David's death, about how the police seem to keep reopening like these sore wounds. And she says that her mom just kept assuring her that everything was going to be okay. All she needed to do was lie down and rest. Ashley then says she went to bed early because she was feeling sick, and that's all that she remembers. So then they ask her about the suicide note.
The other girl's name again?
The younger one?
Yeah.
Bree.
Bree?
Yeah.
And Ashley?
And Ashley's in college. Bree's younger.
And Bree's right now talking to investigators?
Ashley's talking to investigators
I
because
meant to
she's
say
in
that.
because she's in the hospital recovering.
Yeah.
So the suicide note that they want to bring up, this suicide note was typed, not handwritten. It was something that when asked, Ashley had no recollection of writing. It would take months for investigators to realize what really happened that night, and that Stacey Castor's idea of figuring it out nearly cost her daughter's life. So, if it's not obvious by now, investigators are widely suspicious about the rest of the family. The detectives were able to get the home phone line tapped, and they were listening for any odd or incriminating phone calls that could lead them to any direction or any leads or anything like that. In one, Stacey's talking to her friend, and the sound of typing in the background catches their attention. And later analysis confirms what they expect, that Stacey was editing the suicide letter that would later appear on Ashley's computer.
Oh, dang.
They also checked the family computer, and the metadata shows that the suicide note wasn't even written on Ashley's account. It was typed on Stacey's, and the timestamps placed the document's creation while Ashley was at school at college, so before the daughter even came back in town for drinks. Detectives then uncover another piece of the puzzle, and as you'd imagine, there's a forged will. You're looking confused.
Yeah, I'm just confused. Why?
I'll tell you.
Did they give the daughters money or something?
Well, shortly after David's death, Stacey produced a document that left his business, property, assets entirely to herself and her daughters, cutting out David's oldest son completely.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Handwriting experts testified the signature wasn't David's and that it was copied from a legitimate document Stacey had already had access to because of his office files.
Mm-hmm.
So investigators actually went down and tracked down the woman who notarized David's updated will, and it was a family friend of Stacey's. She told police that Stacey had brought her this already signed document and asked her to notarize it as a favor. Believing it was legit, she stamped it without David being present. So this is obviously violating the notary state law or whatever it's called.
Did she get in trouble?
She did.
Ooh.
Yeah. So when handwriting experts proved that the signature was forged and the computer records show that the will was created at Stacey's house computer, prosecutors charged the notary with falsifying business records and offering a false instrument for filing. Both felonies under New York state law.
Oh, snap.
Yeah. She later cooperated with investigators, testifying that Stacey had misled her into thinking that David signed it himself. But even then, he's supposed to be there. So it's like, regardless, it's illegal.
But they probably really want to get Stacey, so they're like,
okay, we'll cut you a deal.
Yeah.
So I don't know, like, what, if anything, she was sentenced. I know she was cooperative, and she definitely got remorse.
Immunity, yeah.
Yeah. So she could have been in really big trouble for that. So don't falsify documents.
Mm-hmm.
Among the strongest physical evidence came from the 2 glasses found next to David's bed that I talked about. One contained a small amount of green liquid, which was later confirmed to be antifreeze, and the other had orange juice residue in it, or like some juice. Fingerprint analysis, though, found Stacey Castor's prints on the bottom of the glasses, positioned in a way that suggests that she had held it and poured it from the bottom. And also, not to mention that there was no fingerprints of David's found on the glasses. So it'd be very odd if he was trying to hold a cup like this anyways, but none of his fingerprints were on it. So combine that with the turkey baster discovered in the kitchen trash, which contained his DNA and antifreeze, the evidence was clear. David hadn't poured or drunk the poison himself. This was not suicide. He had been deliberately given by none other than his own wife. Crazy.
Wow.
So, by late 2008, investigators had enough to move. They arrest Stacey Castor at her home on charges of second-degree murder, attempted murder, and forgery. So, how sickening. She allegedly might have killed her first husband, considering he had antifreeze in his system. Second husband, it's looking like she killed him. And in order to cover her own butt, she makes it look like her own daughter could have been the one poisoning her husband's.
Yeah, that is crazy.
That's sickening.
Want to hear what I put?
Yes.
I was wrong, but I said, first one I said daughter killed the dad. And then I said, second one I said mom and daughter killed everyone.
Ooh. Oh, you thought her and Bree were killed. Okay. Those are good guesses.
But it was close.
It was pretty close. Stacey is a bad girl.
Yeah,
for
seriously.
sure. So, and this is so sad because by all accounts, her, like the girls and the mom, best friends. They all went, like, this like was blindsiding to everybody, including the daughters. They were like, what? Why would you do that? So prosecutors came out swinging with physical evidence. They had the 2 glasses with the fingerprints. They had the antifreeze, the turkey baster, the computer evidence, the wiretap recording, the forged will, all this stuff. So tons of things. They even, the results from exhuming Michael Wallace, which showed that this has been a repeat offense. And I'd be shocked if an 11-year-old is doing this on their own at the time.
Yeah.
Along with testimony.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, what the heck?
I know. And I was like, yeah, super weird, right? Because I was like, I literally learned what antifreeze was like in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Which would be shocking. Exactly. But that's like, the Stacey like stands on that. She's like, no, she did it when she was 11. And she stands by that until today. Sickening. So let me go into it a little bit further though. So she, along with all the physical evidence, the prosecution talks about like the circumstantial. Talks about Stacey's inconsistent statements and the behavior after death. The fact that she refused an autopsy for Michael. That's why I think that they just said it was heart attack and it was declared a heart attack. And same with David. She refused to go any further into an autopsy. And as far as medical testimony goes, it confirmed that Ashley's near fatal dose of painkillers was intentionally administered, not self-ingested. Which I'm not sure how you can tell the difference, but
somehow
people know what they're doing.
Yeah.
So that's what documents say. That's what documents say. So Stacey's motive seemed to be financial gain. It seemed to be that she wanted everything in the will, which seems like she did a lot for a little.
Yeah.
Stacey's attorneys argued that she was a grieving mom and that she was now a widow being framed by circumstance, and that her own daughter, Ashley Wallace, was the real killer who had confessed in a suicide note.
Oh.
Isn't that horrible?
Yeah, that is sad.
I was like,
especially the mom's okay with it.
Shocked. Well, the mom is the one that's pushing for that.
Yeah.
That'd be hard as a defense attorney to be like.
But I bet the attorneys are like, this is our best defense. And she's like, yeah, let's do it.
I know. That's what makes me sad. That'd be hard as a defense attorney. You're like, we're really going to blame your 19-year-old daughter or something.
Yeah.
Or however old she is. So she says their core defense is weak. It's that Ashley is the true culprit. She said the claim about the computer evidence could have been misinterpreted or manipulated by investigators. A lot of her defense is that it could have been manipulated by investigators. And that just looks weak. You're like blaming everything on detective work. That's bad. She also says that the Antifreeze deaths were not murders. They were actually a suicide and a death. So she says, no, David did commit suicide. She doesn't say that she was a part of it. She says, if he was murdered, though, it was actually not me.
Did you kill David Castor by poisoning him with antifreeze?
No, I did not.
Did you try to murder your daughter and try to frame her for the murders of David Castor and Michael Wallace?
Absolutely no, I did not.
She denied that she altered David's will, claiming that she simply followed paperwork David had already completed for business reasons, and that she was just getting it notarized the way she was supposed to. So that's what they came in with, and it wasn't a good look. So the outcome of the defense case is that the jury was not impressed with how they handled it, specifically like the fact that the computer forensics, the fingerprints, the turkey baster, all that was overwhelmingly in the prosecutor's favor, and that it contradicted the defense's claims. So they were just like, later the jury even said like they were just not impressed and said that because she kept blaming the detectives, it made Stacey look even more guilty, which I agree. After 4 weeks of testimony and after several days of deliberation, on February 5th, 2009, the jury found Stacey Castor guilty on all accounts. Second-degree murder for killing her husband, David Castor. She got 25 years for that. Attempted second-degree murder for trying to kill and frame her own daughter, Ashley, and she got another 25 years for that. And then forgery for falsifying David's will, and she got 1 to 4 years for that.
So how much total?
51 years.
Oh, wow.
51 years before being eligible for parole. Basically a life sentence.
Yeah.
But it's like kind of frustrating for me because it seems obvious that she also killed her first husband. But Michael's case never, like, they didn't get to do a trial for Michael, of course. Yeah. When the verdict was,
she wants money.
She's a freak. So when the verdict was read, Stacey remained emotionless. Like, Ashley and Bree are like just the two of them together, falling both in tears. It's so sad.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, freaking Stacey's mom, Grandma.
Stacey's mom.
Yeah. Wow, I didn't even catch that. Grandma on Stacey's side stayed team Stacey. She's like, my granddaughter did it. Dang. Can you believe that?
That's crazy.
I was like, oh my gosh, the audacity.
She's raised a psychopath.
I know.
She's a psychopath.
That's what it sounds like. I was like, how dare you?
How dare you?
I know. At sentencing, the judge said, quote, you are cold, calculating, and without remorse. You almost killed your daughter to save yourself.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Ashley Wallace gave an emotional victim impact statement as well, and I'll have that playing.
I hate my mother for ruining so many people's lives. I didn't even know why she did it. What gave her the right to play God with people? And I hate her for having me be the one that found my dad, just like her for having Bree found me. I never knew what hate was until now. Even though I do hate her, I still love her at the same time. That bothers me. It's so confusing. How can you hate someone and love them at the same time? I just wish that she would say sorry for everything she did, including all the lies. As horrible as it makes me feel, this is goodbye, Mom. As hard as you tried, I survived, and I will survive because now I'm surrounded by people that love me. I'm going to do good things in this world, despite making me, in every sense of the word, an orphan.
Shockingly, the story doesn't quite end there. In addition to the murders of her 2 husbands, family members wondered about the death of another family member. February 27th, 2002, Jerry Daniels, the father of Stacey Castor, died. He had been admitted to the hospital after having some illness related to his lungs. There's like no specific illness that we could find, but he was on the mend leading up to his death on the 27th, and Stacey had gone to visit her good old pops. What they remember of that day is that Stacey came in to visit him with an open soda can. Evidently, what they witnessed is that she gave some soda to her dad, made him drink it, and after that soda, he made a rapid decline and passed away. Soon after the death, she had her father's remains cremated, and she became the executor of his estate. The autopsy said that Jerry Daniels had died of natural causes. And I'm like, Stacey's mom, what are you doing? Like, Stacey potentially could have been involved in your own husband's murder.
Yeah.
I think we got a pair, in my own opinion.
That's true. They don't, allegedly.
Yeah, so, and I can't be spitting that out because there's nothing that says that. But I just say that's a little weird.
Yeah, that is really weird.
So now because they can't exhume Jerry, nothing can be certain, but the suspicion around his death does make you wonder. Could Stacey have been responsible for the deaths of 3 of the most important men in her life? So Stacey Castor appealed her conviction but lost, of course. She served her sentence at Belford Hills Correctional Facility, where she remained until her death in June of 2016 at the age of 48, ruled a heart attack with no foul play suspected. I was like, speaking of young people having heart attacks, it's pretty young.
Yeah.
Her first husband and second husband, like we said, are buried literally next to each other, side-by-side plots. And a brother-in-law of her first husband calls it Stacey's monument to murder. And that is the story of David Castor.
Dang, that's crazy.
Isn't that creepy?
That is creepy.
You need to look up a
scary
picture of Stacey because I'm like, you son of a gun. The fact that she almost murdered her own daughter so that she can get away with killing her spouse.
Yeah.
That is, I've never heard a mom turn on their kid like that.
And it's kind of creepy. Might run in their blood.
I know.
Allegedly.
I mean, there's nothing on that. I'm not saying Stacey's mom is suspicious. I'm just kind of surprised that she is still on Stacey's team after all the evidence has been revealed. It's disturbing. Anyways.
Yep. Let me pull up some stuff.
All right. Do we have true crime news or not so fun facts? Or we don't have Ohio State update, actually.
Yeah, no Ohio State update because
Bye.
they're on a bye. One of the big updates, though, is I'm officially based in Arizona.
Whoop, whoop. Yeah, so
that's it.
as of this week, November 1st, Blake does not have to travel for work anymore. Very excited for you. I'm a little jealous, but I'll let it slide. Also, on other news again, I had my first ultra marathon. You gonna congratulate me or what?
Oh, yes. I
Thank
was just
you.
looking at your foot, and I was like,
They
we
look
need
bad.
to talk about it.
I hurt my foot. Yes, I did my first 50K in Moab on the trails, kicked my butt. I did come in an hour and a half faster than I thought I was going to, so that was a big win for me. But my muscles actually feel pretty great considering, but my left foot, something's going on with it. I'm sure it's just bruised from... Like, I was shocked that the terrain was like you're jumping off boulders. Like, it was so rough, and it was just a hike, and it was miserable. But
Jeez.
I'm very proud of myself.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you. I appreciate
Crushed it.
Thank you.
Killed her time.
Killed my time.
Yep. Kind of, it's easy to kill your time when you set it really high, but...
Okay, the reason I had it at 8 hours is because I looked at last year's women's times, and the fastest, like the top 5 women were like in the 7-hour range. And I'm like, oh my gosh, those are the fastest women. There's no way I'm going to get it in 8 hours.
Yeah.
But during the race, I found out that last year's conditions were absolutely terrible. And it makes sense that they were much lower. This year, the fastest women were in the 5-hour range. I'm like, oh, okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
I did come in 5th in my age group.
Nice. That's really good,
and 16
actually.
in women.
Dang, that's actually sick.
Thank you.
How many were there?
I was like, there wasn't many. Wasn't many. I think in my age group, there was like 15. It's not that cool.
That's high. That's good. Better than me.
In my gender, I think it was probably like 40. And
nice.
then I came in 55 out of 100 people.
Nice. Good job.
Thank you. Anyways, carry on.
All right. So we're going to look up mothers that are killers.
Mothers.
The number one is probably the most infamous.
I was just saying, I had a really weird case today about a mom, but you go ahead.
Lori Vallow.
I don't know names, sorry.
You know this one.
I know stories. I don't
know names. You can't have this on our podcast if you don't know this one. Lori Vallow, Daybell.
Tell me more.
Really?
I don't know names. I only know stories.
She's like in Chandler. She thought her kids were zombies.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, there you go.
That's why I told you. I don't know names, unfortunately.
All right, so Lori was found guilty of murdering her 2 children, Tylee and JJ, and conspiring in other murders as part of the so-called Doomsday Case. Mm-hmm. She was driven by a blend of delusion and alleged financial motives and a desire to eliminate
we need to practice our
impediments. I don't know what that to her control.
It's okay,
impediments. I thought that was gonna be like a thing, but that's like people impeding her control. That makes sense. Sentence lifelong imprisonment without possibility of parole. Next is Nanny Doss, known as the Giggling Granny. She killed multiple family members, 4 husbands, a mother, a sister, grandchildren, etc. between 1927 and 1954.
I think she killed like 4 or 6 kids or something crazy.
Jeez. Her motive was largely life insurance and inheritance using poison and other means. Convicted in 1954, sentenced to life, died in prison in 1965.
I feel like a lot of time when you hear a poison case, a lot like those are like the women.
Yeah. All right, and then the last one for today is Juanita Hoyt, convicted of killing her 5 biological children, who died as infants in the 1960s, 1970s. Originally blamed on SIDS, sudden infant death syndrome. Sentenced to 75 years to life in 1995, died in prison in 1998.
That is so disturbing. I just didn't think moms had it in them, but well, especially, I just am in shock.
Yeah.
But I'm excited for next week because our newfound Hannah, we love her. She brought a very interesting case that we're going to be going into.
Let's go, Hannah.
I know, she knows what's up. So, anyways, thank you for listening to this week. We'll be back next week with another episode of Siblings in Crime.
Yep, thank you.